Yahweh Shai. All right, we're approaching the Passover, and there's going to be hell coming in the earth. Nothing is going to get better, but it can't get better until it gets worse. All right. So just like this tunnel I'm going through, okay? There's light at the end of the tunnel, okay? Light at the end of the tunnel, all right? All hell's getting ready to break loose. This may be our last Passover, all right? All right, so get your prayers up and in to Yahweh Shai. This may be our last Passover, okay? To ever celebrate, all right? Okay? All right, they are, Trump is threatening to bomb their energy stores, okay? Their nuclear sites, water desalination plants, all right? In other words, he's threatening to put them in the dark and starve them out, okay? The water, all right? And on the other hand, Iran is threatening to take down all the companies that are in the region, all the Google, Palantir, all of them that are in the region. He's threatening to bomb them, okay, that are in the region of the Middle East. All right, so all hell is breaking loose, all right, between both sides, Iran and Babylon the Great. So, but there'll be light at the end of the tunnel, all right. Lord willing, it increases to all-out war, and China and Russia enter this thing, okay, leading to Armageddon. With that, I say Shalom. Better is the end, okay? The kingdom of heaven awaits, all right? So better is the end of a thing. Romans 13:11. And that knowing the time that now it is high time to wake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believe. Okay? All these prophecies coming to pass. We have Esau waging war against Iran. In the Middle East, we have the nations joining, okay? And the Lord gathering the nations to Armageddon. So we have a lot to be joyful about, okay? And there's light at the end of the tunnel, okay? Go to the feature scripture, Ecclesiastes 7, and we'll read 7 and 2 and 3 first. Ecclesiastes 7, 2 and 3. It is better to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting, for that is the end of all men, and the living will lay it to his heart. Okay, because we know that the house of mourning, like we're celebrating the Passover now, all right, okay, so we mourn the loss of Yahweh Shai, and we are sad mainly for the wickedness that we commit unknowingly and knowingly against the commandments of the Lord. All right. Okay. So we know that there's light at the end of the tunnel. All right. It's not a time of partying, it's a time in mirth. Now we're in a time of war. So, okay, the end of all things is approaching. Okay. Verse 3, sorrow is better than laughter, for by sadness of the countenance the heart is made better. Okay, see that? And the feature scripture, better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof, and the patient in spirit is better than the proud in spirit. Okay, because we know the kingdom of heaven awaits. Okay, where we can actually rest. Psalms 37 and verses 7. Rest in the Lord and wait patiently for him. Fret not thyself because of him that prospereth in his way, because of the man who bringeth wicked devices to pass. And we know who that is, Esau, Edom. Cause, cease from anger, and forsake wrath. Fret not thyself in any wise to do evil. For evildoers shall be cut off, but those that wait upon the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, they shall inherit the earth. For yet a little while, and the wicked shall not be. Yea, thou shalt diligently consider his place, and it shall not be. But the meek shall inherit the earth, and shall delight themselves in abundance of peace. All right, and this meek will be the Israelites. Okay, all right. Most importantly, the prophets, teachers, and believers. Okay, verse 12: the wicked plotteth against the just, and gnasheth upon him with his teeth. The Lord shall laugh at him, for he seeth that his day is coming. So that day is what we wait for. Okay, all right. That ending, the ending of Esau's world. Okay, his rulership, and we know we have to go through tribulation. All right, in order to receive it. All right, we can see it's like a light at the end of the tunnel. All right. Hold on a second. I don't know why this is doing this, but there we go. All right. Let's see, can we get it up? All right. Acts 14 and 22. Confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, and that we must, through much tribulation, enter into the kingdom of the Most High, which the kingdom is a dominion, it's a rulership, okay, that's going to be right here on the earth, okay. The Lord is going to grant salvation, all right, deliverance to his elect, all right, 144,000, 1/3 of all Israel, okay, 144,000 governing body, plus the prophets, teachers, all right, believers also, okay, okay. He's going to grant uh, um, the first resurrection to that, okay. All right, uh, they're not going to see death. I mean, in other words, they're not going to Salakia. I take all of that back. They're not going to experience the second death. All right, you understand? Okay, they're not going to experience the second death. All right, many might be martyred. Okay, all right. The scriptures speak of guillotines. All right, we already know that they already have the detention centers already out. Okay, and they want them up and running before the end of the year. Okay, all these detention warehouses. All right, you know, these huge warehouses that, you know, distribution centers that they're opening to put people in. Okay, so-called migrants, but they're gonna put everybody in. Okay, when all hell breaks loose. But the Lord is gonna grant salvation and deliverance to his elect. Okay, just know that. Okay, so through much tribulation, um, we're gonna have to go through to get to the kingdom of heaven. All right, Baruch 4 and 25. Baruch 4 and 25. And it reads, my children, suffer patiently the wrath that is come upon you from the Most High. For thine enemy has persecuted thee, but shortly thou shalt see his destruction, and shalt tread upon his neck. My delicate ones have gone rough ways, and were taken away as a flock caught of the enemies. All right, and that's in the various captivities of the Israelites. Okay, mainly we see that the tribe of Judah came over here and during the transatlantic slave trade. All right, and have been in captivity ever since. All right, be of good comfort, O my children, and cry unto the Most High, for ye shall be remembered of him that brought these things upon you. For as it was your mind to go astray from the Most High, so being returned, so that which lets you know that everybody on the planet can't return to the Lord. They have to be an Israelite. Okay, so being returned, because they would had to already been under covenant, their forefather. Seek him 10 times more. Okay, for he that has brought these plagues upon you shall bring you everlasting joy with your salvation. Okay. All right. And second Esdras, this is entitled Better is the End of a Thing. Second Esdras 6 and verses 7. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of times, or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. And that gives us comfort, all right, knowing that the rulership of Esau, Edom, all right, the so-called white man and his descendants will come to an end. With that I say, Shalom.